Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sorry. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Harikanta.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Problem is that we have this temporary body. The body is temporary, and we're not temporary. So that's the thing. We're, what's the word? Incompatible situation. All of us, including myself, we're in a difficult situation. It's just like you take a fish out of the water. Whatever you give the fish, will never be happy. But we can see, like this hat. I made this hat, just to demonstrate how the consciousness, the light is the consciousness, and the body is changing from childhood to youth. This is the message of Bhagavad Gita. The beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna explains, Krishna explains to Arjuna, he's not this body. Personally, I was mystified, I was born in a middle class British family. We didn't have money. My father had a reasonable job, my mother educated, had so many books in the house. My mother was an MA in English literature. Father was a scientist, top scientist actually. And one day my mother was doing the washing the dishes in the kitchen sink. We didn't have a washing machine. It was after the Second World War. So it wasn't very high standard of living there. She had to do the washing up herself. So I was a young boy of 6. I said, Mummy, where do we come from? Mummy, where do we come from? It was a question. And my mother just my mother went red in the face. She went red in the face. She was embarrassed. A simple question. Because she was in ignorance herself. She had a top education, British University, but she didn't know where we come from, what we are. So she thought I was talking about sex. What was a boy of age 6 talking about sex for? So she was bewildered. Where do we come from? So she said, when Mummy and Daddy kiss. She said, when Mummy and Daddy kiss. What an answer, As though, I had come from a kiss. Some chemical reaction, you know. That's the present, how do you say, not epigram, what is it called? Huh? The present philosophy all over the world. Huh? Sorry? Paradigm, yeah, paradigm. This is the most common paradigm, that life has come from matter. We have books about it. Yeah? We have Life Comes from Matter, yeah? It's a very good book. Life comes from life. You know, you don't see two mobile phones getting together, you know. And then baby mobile phone. It's impossible, you know. Because mobile phones are, after all, only a machine. When all's said and done, it's a wonderful machine. And I can ring my mom and say, put the kettle on, I'm coming home, you know. So then, you know, I could see she was embarrassed. And, you know, she had no education, proper education. I wasn't asking really, you know, that question. I was asking, like, you know, me, where does me come from? I'm me. The body's changing, but I'm the same. Everyone can see this. We had a child's body, a youth's body, adult's body, and then now we're having a whole body. But we're the same. So that means we're not this body. We say my hand, my nose, my ears, my mind, my everything. But obviously I'm not these things. I'm looking at these things. I'm the knower. I'm the knower of this field. In Sanskrit, I'm Kshetragya. This is a field. I'm seeing my mind, I'm seeing my senses, I'm seeing the room, I'm seeing the country. But I'm aware of it. I'm consciously aware. And scientists, although big talk, they've never created life. They've never created life. That's why so many people are dying in the hospital? Why don't they just give him some life. That is great. Yeah, I've got a whole dose of life. Here I go. Then we get, just like cars, you know. You know the cars have to get to the petrol station. You could have life stations. Okay, fill up with life, mate. Another 20 years, then you're man. Isn't it? They have electric cars now. Do you have electric cars here?
Yeah.
Now you could just plug in, right? Okay, give me another dose of life, mate. I want the best consciousness. Super consciousness, please. How much is super consciousness per hour? Just imagine, you know, all the problems will be solved. But they can't do it. And yet they're promising, you know, we can be happy in this world by, you know, better job, go to America, better car, better wife, better something or other. We can be happy. How can we be happy when we're on death row? We're all of us on death row. In America they have a thing called death row. And someone's condemned to death. They have some cells, you know. There are different kinds of electric chair, they have injection. Some places they cut their head off. Some places they shoot them. But you know, that's death, but all of us on death row. So when I was a bit older, my mother couldn't If only my mother had read Bhagavad Gita, she could have said, well dear, sit down. I'm going to tell you something really important, love. You know, it's very interesting, you know. You've had lots and lots of mummies and daddies. Before me and your daddy, we've had lots and lots of mummies and daddies. Really. Sometimes you've had, you know, mummy and daddy cat bodies. Mummy and daddy were dogs. Mummy and daddies were birds. You hatched out of a shell. And then you flew away. Sometimes your mummy and daddy were fishes. And you know, you could get 8,400,000 mummies and daddies. Really? You can have mummy and daddy on the higher planets. They live for millions of years. Yeah. But Bhagavad Gita says, Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Pura Abitin Ordina. From the highest planet to the lowest planet, love, my dear little boy Nicky, from the highest planet to the lowest planet, they're all places where birth and death take place. You have to be born, you have to die. So it's a dead loss. So then I might say, well, Mummy, what do I do then? If I'm going to die, I don't want to change my body. I don't like the idea. Getting old, having diseases. Mummy, what can you do for me? Well, dear, it's like this. You haven't heard of Lord Caitanya? Lord Caitanya was born 537 years ago, my dear little boy. And he's teaching how to escape from birth and death. You see, it's very easy. My dear little boy, you chant Hare-Krishna, Hare-Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And then you realise you're not this body. But unfortunately, my mum didn't say that. She said, you know, my mum and daddy kissed. So then, well, when I got a bit older, I was 13, 14, at school they used to call me the misfit. I didn't mind because I felt like a misfit. I thought, it's really good. I'm a misfit. And they used to call me a hermit. A hermit. And then one day my parents were all, and the uncle and everyone were in the lounge. And they were all laughing. My uncle was smoking his pipe. And they saw me on the floor. I was very young. Maybe I was 6 or 7. So, Nicky, what do you want to be when you grow up? Did their parents ask you this question?
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up? And you know what they were thinking? Oh, I want to be an engine driver. I want to be a rocket. I want to go to the moon. I want to be a policeman. I said, Mummy, I want to be a monk. What? No, you don't. You don't want to be a monk. So then when I was 14, 15 and 16, now listen, 14, you know, that's when the trouble starts. When all the hormones kick in, you know. You start, you know, being aware of your gender. I'm a boy and she's a girl. And there's a problem. I'm a girl and she's a boy. He's a boy. Now it's getting all mixed up. You can choose your gender. It's just crazy, man. Anyway, then I was getting really depressed. But then my philosophy was, it's all a waste of time. I become really depressed. It's all a waste of time, everything. You end up in the grave. It's all a waste of time. See, I'm just a lump of chemicals, because I've been going to school and learning I'm just a lump of chemicals, buzzing around for no reason. The universe happened by a big explosion, the Big Bang, or primordial soup, and then by evolution, Darwin's theory, here I am today. This is me. And it's all a waste of time. That's what I was thinking. So I asked my father, Father, what's the point of life? What's the point? What's the purpose of life? It's a serious question. I mean, this is a really serious question. I mean, you're not supposed to ask these questions. You're not supposed to ask. One time I was in the physics class at my school. It was quite a big school. Not a major public school. We call it a minor public school. And the teacher, I always say these stories because it's interesting. And he wrote on the blackboard, I think it was Newton's third law of thermodynamics. It's a big formula like this, and all these different figures, A over B minus blah blah. Pythagoras, this and that. You're just looking at it, your mind goes crazy, unless you're a good mathematician, and it means something. So the classroom, he said, put it down, get it in your book. Put the formula down, get it in your book. So me and my friend were at the back of the class. And we thought, we were beginning to realize this is a waste of time in modern science. So I put up my hand. I said, yes, really half. My surname was really half. Yes, really half. What's your question? Why? W-H-Y. Why? Don't ask why. Get it down in your book and pass your exam. If you want to know why, go to the school chaplain, pastor or the pastor. Go to the school chaplain and ask why. In other words, physics can't answer any fundamental questions. It's just, material knowledge. He admitted it. He said, you go to the school chaplain. So I was going to the school chaplain. I was going to the church. I was reading the New Testament, the Bible. But I still couldn't get any clear answer what I was. Some vague answer. One time Satan took Jesus on top of a mountain and said, I can give you the whole world. And Jesus said, what is the use of the whole world if I lose my immortal soul? Now those words stuck in my mind, immortal soul. What is that? I had no idea. From the Bible, there's no science of the soul. You can't explain what is the soul. Nobody knows, really. And as far as God, the Father of Jesus, is concerned, nobody knows who He is. It's completely crazy. You think about it. They say there's a Trinity. God the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Well, what does that mean? It's a triangle, but who's the Father? You don't know. It's completely blank, There's Jehovah's Witness book. They show like A4 page, white page in front of God the Father's face. Have you seen that? Or is it Jehovah's Witness? They have pictures, they have God the Father, but he has A4 white paper in front of his face. That's God the Father. We don't know who He is. We've never seen Him. And so, go to the chaplain, what does he know? He's smoking cigarettes, he's getting a salary, he puts on shirt and pants. Jesus never wore shirt and pants. I never saw a picture of Jesus wearing shirt and pants, smoking a cigarette. Anybody see a picture? Did Jesus smoke cigarettes? So this is a waste of time. So I went to my father and said, what's the point of life? Well, son, you pass your exam, don't you? You have to pass your exam, don't you? And then father, then what? Well, then you get a job, don't you? I don't take it the wrong way. My father was a very nice man. He really was. But he never read Bhagavad Gita. He had no idea of God. In fact, he thought God was completely bogus. He used to say, if there's God, why is there so much suffering in this world? That was his big argument. Why is there war, there's disease, there's floods, there's earthquakes, there's volcanoes, you name it. Why all these things if there's God? Yeah. So then he said, well, if you pass your exam, you get a good job. Like me. I got a good job. I've got a good job. So then I thought, well, what next? Then you have a family. And then you're happy. Really? I was thinking, really? Is that real happiness? Even the dogs and the frogs, the birds and bees are doing the same. They're doing the same. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. I could see that. I had fish tanks. I had insects. I was studying biology. I was looking at all these living beings. And there's no question of self-realization. They don't ask this question. Who am I? I'm a human being. And I want to know. My father didn't know. My mother didn't know. So and my school didn't know. University didn't know. I went to art college. I saw all the pictures of all the artists in the world. And they don't know. They don't know what the purpose of life is. Got no idea. Some expressionists and cubists, some surrealists, paintings, and yeah. So then I was searching. I mean, I'm not exceptional. I don't think I'm exceptional. There's a whole generation of young people, and like you also. Why, you're thinking, what's the point of life? Why do I have to suffer? So naturally I was looking, college, trying to enjoy, drugs, sex, this and that. Then one day, I was in London, finished college, and I wasn't happy, and I was miserable actually. And I had a girlfriend, but she was going with other men also. We were hippies. Friends, it means friends you can do what you like. So it wasn't nice. So I was standing on the street corner in Ladbroke Grove, which is like the Bowery part of New York. It's like the Lower East Side where all students, hippies hang out in the 60s. And main thing was where to get your next drugs. And I was just standing there. It was a cold winter's day. And it was foggy. Do you have foggy here in Nairobi? Foggy? You can't see. It's all white cloud everywhere. Anybody's listening? Yes. Yeah, okay. So then I was standing there on Sunday morning, and I had this noise. didn't know what it was. And it was fog and it was dark. It was Sunday morning, like, I should say about 9 o'clock. In England, that's still dark. And all of a sudden, the sun came out from behind a cloud. And it spotlighted the devotees. And they'd been dancing since Notting Hill Gate. They were really sweating. And they had shiny heads, bald heads, tilak, robes, dancing and singing. And because they were hot, the steam was like coming from, it looked like a horror movie. It's horrible. It's just like, and I looked at them, and honestly, I nearly vomited. I just felt sick in my stomach. This is terrible. And I just ran away from there. I said, oh no, God, this is too much. But actually, the impact was there. When I look back, that was an important point in my life, that I actually knew there were some people who really had sacrificed their life for supernatural, for God, whatever God was. They were completely surrendered. They're dancing and singing, glorifying God. Jesus had said that our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your name should be hallowed, should be glorified. And these people were doing it. So that struck me, I didn't want to join them. I didn't want anything to do with them. But it must have impacted me. And the holy name must have gone in my ear. Something must have happened. So many more things. I just wanted to tell you where I was coming from. But then ultimately I read Bhagavad Gita. After a long story. And there all the answers were there. Sometimes people ask me, many people ask me this, all over the world. What did you feel when you first saw Srila Prabhupada? What did you, because I was physically present for a few years with Srila Prabhupada. I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada and so on. I talked to Srila Prabhupada a few times. So they asked, well, what was it like when you first saw Srila Prabhupada? It's a common question. And my comment, and the answer I always give is that I met Srila Prabhupada in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Because he was the person who could answer all my questions about life, who I was, what is the purpose of, why I have to grow old, why I have to die, how to get rid of it, everything. He revealed about the truth of Bhagavad Gita to me. So then in my heart, I accepted him as my spiritual master. Yeah. So this is Prabhupada's mercy. He's written so many books, given so many classes, and we're his servants. We're part of his family. We can solve all the problems of the world by giving this knowledge, by giving this process of Bhakti Yoga. It's simple, it's joyful. We're having a good time on the street today. Many people are having a good time. And I think, these guys, who are these people, Hare-Krishnas? They don't have any, they're not have 20 pairs of shoes. They wear old shoes. They're not having fashionable haircuts. Some of them have fungus face, of course. Some of them have, instead of having an ordinary seeker, they have kind of Mohican. But generally, Hare-Krishnas, they're renounced, The girls sit differently from the boys, and they're not allowed to have illicit sex, they're not allowed to gamble, they don't drink, they don't take drugs, they don't eat meat even. How could they live without meat? These Hare-Krishnas. And yet they're so happy. Just look at that. I'm working hard to get my money, to have my sex, my meat, to have a good beer with my friends, you know, and to have a nice car, working so. These guys are not working even. They're not even working. They're living in this temple, this Hare-Krishna training center. Hare-Krishna training center. You know. How is it they're so happy? They're chanting Hare-Krishna and they're happy. Okay, let's try it. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Harinama,
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 Harinama, Rama Rama.
So thank you very much. Time for questions. Told you the story of my life. The biggest mistake I ever in my life was to join Hare Krishna. My life is a story of failure. Actually, I wrote a song. Do you want to hear my song?
Yes.
Okay. Bring my keyboard, please. I haven't sung it for a long time, but it's a good song. It's I had to, instead of using the accordion, I'm using this Casio keyboard because as I got older and older, the accordion got heavier and heavier. And then my knee, something happened in my knee, tear of my meniscus, very painful. So then I just started using this Casio. I'm still learning how to use it, but it's nice. That's a bit, you need something more. Life is like a prison, getting older every day. What did I do to deserve this? Got to make my getaway. Living in the city of 9 gates, wondering what to do. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 1 anus, and 1 genital. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Looking around for something, not sure what that something is. My folks tell me I belong here, but I don't know who to believe. Living in the city of 9 gates, wondering what to do. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 1 anus, and 1 genital. What am I supposed to do? 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 something else. My girlfriends were all disappointed. My mind was on something else. I was trying to find the secret, but nobody was there to tell. I was trying to find the secret, but nobody was there to tell. Living in the city of London, wondering what to do. To eyes, to ears, to nostrils, what love, what can ever get into?
What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
My life is a story of failure, but still I'm not a fool. My life is a story of failure, but still I'm not a fool. I'm still asking questions they couldn't answer at school. Hey! I'm still asking questions they couldn't answer at school. Living in the city of London, wondering what to do. Living in the city of London, wondering what to do. I forget to wonder what life will be like. Where I'm going to get it done. What am I supposed to do? Hare-Krishna, Hare-Krishna, Krishna-Krishna, Hare-Hare. Hare-Rama, Hare-Rama, Rama-Rama, Hare-Hare.
Hare-Krishna, Hare-Krishna, Krishna-Krishna, Hare-Hare. Hare-Rama, Hare-Rama,
Shri Harinam-sankirtan ki. Any more questions, please? That was a question, was it?
What am I supposed to do?
Huh? Sounds like Krishna.
Good job.
You heard Krishna? Yes. Any newcomers on a question? Any new people who come today? Is there any question? There's prasadam today?
We shut for everybody's there.
Oh, prasadam, okay. So people just left. Did they get prasadam? Prabhupada will always say that. If somebody left the room, he said, make sure they get prasad. Prabhupada was saying that. That's very important. Yes, no?
Hare-Krishna Maharaj. So from the story of your life, you were asking for questions and you couldn't find answers. So from your experience, what made you convinced that the answers you got from Srila Prabhupada were correct? So what made you convinced? And you made the choice that now these are the correct answers, now I'm seeing here.
Because Bhagavad Gita confirmed my experience. You know, personally, my mother really helped me. I had a hobby, and she helped me with that. Because I was an entomologist at home. Means I kept insects, and not only insects, lizards, fishes, not birds. I didn't like to keep birds. Small insects, fishes, and so I observed how they were changing bodies, especially insects. Insects, they have ova. One stage of life they hatch out, a little ova, then they become a little larva, and eats and eats and eats, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then becomes a pupa. It hangs up somewhere, and maybe all winter it hangs there, and then obviously inside the shell the wings develop, and then it hatches out and it flies. I mean, this is just totally amazing. How could it happen by chance? It changes. It's obvious that the consciousness is the same, but the body is changing. It was obvious to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't fully identify with, that this was happening to me also. Because it's like, Prabhupada gives an example. You've been away from, say, your uncle's house. You haven't seen your uncle for 5 years, right? And your uncle had a son. So you go back to your uncle's house, and you see his uncle's son. Oh, how you have grown! Right? Oh, how you have grown! He was just a little toddler. And 5 years ago, now he's almost a young man. But he's the same person. This is experience. This is common sense, actually. That we're not this body. So when you hear the same thing explained by Krishna to Arjuna and explained by Prabhupada, you think, yeah, this is true. It's not some bluff. By observing nature, you can learn so much about. By observing yourself, you can learn so much about God. I am conscious. I have a mind. I have feelings. I have, speculations. I have desires. Thinking, feeling, and willing is in the mind. I have senses. So if there is a source of everything, it must also have mind, it must also have senses, it must also have feel, willing, and so on. I mean, this is just simple logic, But when you read it, everything in one introduction to Bhagavad Gita, it's just powerful. How could this knowledge be coming to us? And that's explained by disciplic succession. This knowledge has been passed down from thousands of years, unchanged, from master to disciple, master to disciple, master to disciple. And that's why it's pure. Nobody's invented it. It's come from Krishna himself, God himself has given it. You know, to me it seemed common sense, because I was brought up as a Christian, so I believed in God. But I didn't have adequate knowledge until I read Bhagavad Gita. It's just like, you know, you learn at school, you learn 2 and 2 equals 4, 3 and 3 equals 6, blah, blah. You learn it simple. But then if you don't study more, you'll be like one of those street kids we saw today snipping the glue. They can't read. They've hardly been to school. You see? So even though I've been to university and everything, degree, everything, I was just like a street kid. I knew nothing. I didn't know what I was, the purpose of life, even after so many years. So then all of a sudden I read this Bhagavad Gita. Not all of a sudden, there's a long story behind it. But there's this person, Prabhupada, is giving me all this knowledge. You know, and it confirms my experience, my life. So that's, you know, that's how I have faith in it. Not blind faith. It's not blind faith. You can say it's common sense. So this person, he's receiving this knowledge from higher authority. It's not invented knowledge. It's coming from God. Why not? If there is God, why can't communicate? And it's reason, to me it seemed obvious that this was like upgrade on the Bible. Bible, wonderful, and everything there is so much knowledge, but there's so many questions unanswered. But in this book, it's like, you know, I'm not a computer expert, but we used to have the latest Microsoft Word, blah, blah, blah. You know, then you can do more things, more understanding. And then you have Srimad Bhagavatam. After this, after knowing you're not this body, and that you should become a devotee, and then you have Srimad Bhagavatam, which goes on all about the lives of so many devotees. And then ultimately, you can learn, who is that God the Father? He's a person, like you and me, but he's a supreme person. And he has unlimited qualities. All beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all fame. It's Krishna. You know, it's a step-by-step process. Science of God. And that's what we're learning in the ISKCON. You know? It's the science of God. Doesn't matter whether you're Christian, Hindu, or Muslim. You can learn more. You can learn more about your Father. Don't be Durena Yavarang Karma Buddhyoga Dananja Buddha Sharanam Amrita Kripana Falahetava. Don't be to escape birth, old age, disease and death. So try and get information. Don't think just, I am Christian, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, blah, blah, blah. You know, try and solve your problem. The real problem is you have to grow old, you have to have disease, you have to die, you don't like it. Why is it forced upon me? Life is like a prison. I'm getting older every day. What did I do to deserve this? I've got to make my getaway. I've got to escape from this. So I need somebody. I need a spiritual master. My mother couldn't tell me, my father couldn't tell me, my teachers couldn't tell me, my school chaplain couldn't tell me. But somebody could tell me. That was your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's disciples. They can tell you. Because they're passing down this knowledge in disciplic succession. You can test it for yourself. It's not blind following. You can chant Hare Krishna. See if it works. See if it works. Test it. Try it. Try giving up meat for a week. See how you feel. Stop taking drugs for a week. See how you feel. Try it. See if it works. We don't want blind followers. We're looking for intelligent people. So that's what Hare-Krishna is about. We have to help this world. We have to do something for humanity. And Bhagavad Gita explains that this chanting of Hare Krishna is called yagya, or sacrifice. So if you perform sacrifice, it's very interesting. I don't want to go on too long, but for instance, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Anat bhavanti bhutani pajanya anasambhavan yagyat bhavati pajanya yagyat kama sabhurva. All living beings subsist on food, grains, food grains, anything. Fruit, anything that, vegetables, it's all anat, it's food. Sometimes the word means grains like wheat and beans. And all living beings live on food. And where does food come from? From rains. From rains. Everything comes from rain. If there's no rain, you starve. You can't make rain. Big talk in Discovery on CNN, what the scientists have done. Have they ever made rain? Maybe once or twice. By spending $1 million putting silver dioxide on a cloud. And it probably poisoned everyone. You can't make rain. And then Yagyat Bhavati Pajanya. And where does the rain come from? Sacrifice to God. Do something for God. Please God. Because you're helpless. Can't you see you're helpless? If there's no rain, you're going to die. And parts of Kenya also, no rain, there's no food. The locusts come along. And they eat everything. And the farmers have got nothing to eat. It'll happen maybe more. Now they call it climate change. The buzzword. Climate change. Climate change. What are we going to do? There's Greta Thunberg. She's very sincere. She's a very nice person. Everything. But unfortunately, she doesn't believe in Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise she can understand. The rains come from, you have to please the demigods. There's demigods in charge of all the different facilities we use in this world. The rain, the fire, everything. It's controlled by people. With more intelligence, more power than us. So then, where does yagya come from? Karma samudbha. By doing your work, you have to do sacrifice. Okay, you may be a businessman, maybe a policeman, you may be a scientist, you may be a teacher, but you have to give your results of your. They have to taste a higher happiness, and actually, you can see, many times I've seen people. They're with their girlfriend, they're in South America or anywhere in Europe, anywhere. They're drinking in the bar, and we come along. Boom, 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 boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And they stop tapping their feet. The fortunate ones just stop tapping their feet, and they look up. And then, can you say Hare Krishna? And some of them are very embarrassed. They sort of, no, don't worry. And then, when they actually chant, wow, their whole face changes. The eyes light up. And they're experiencing something, actually, they're experiencing transcendental happiness, which is beyond the material senses. Actually, its original senses are spiritual, but they're just covered by this, in this prison, this cage. We're in a cage now. We're encaged in this dead body. This body's already dead. And Prabhupada is really heavy. One time Prabhupada said, in New York, 66, everyone's happy, a baby's born. Woo! Look at the don't they realize death is born? Death is born. Why are they laughing? Because as soon as you're born, you have to die. So there's people, you know. So this is a heavy science. It's so heavy, people don't like Hare-Krishna. It's too heavy. As soon as I started chanting Hare-Krishna, all my friends left me. He's got religion. He's got religion. Leave him alone now. Don't talk to him. He's got religion. Thank goodness I got religion. At least I got some real friends now. When I joined a temple in London, I thought, oh wow, now I feel like coming home now. We're all crazy.
Yes.
But they're more crazy than us. Because they really think they can be happy in this temporary body. It's impossible. But we understand, yeah, the body has to die anyway, but we're not going to die. We stand a chance to go back to Godhead with Krishna. We've learned a lot. So that's my answer to the question. By practicing Bhakti Yoga, it's not blind faith. You can go step by step, test it out. You can take your observations from nature, check with the scriptures, does it say, and then you can start practicing. Okay, I stop taking drugs for a week, and this and that, and you see how I feel. Go on and on and on. It's scientific. It's scientific. Okay, I better finish now. Shri Prabhupada Ki
Jai!
Any more questions? What size prasadam? No, okay. Go for the praying. What next?
MahaVishnu Swami Maharaj ki
Jai!
Go for the praying Prabhu ki
Jai!
Hare-Krishna Training Center ki
Jai!
Thank you. Anybody wants to ask any, come to me and ask any questions, I can try and answer for a few minutes. But please take prasadam. Mahapasani Govinde.
Mahapasani Govinde.
Where's prasadam? Where's prasadam?
at the temple.
At the temple, okay. Go that way, Prabhu. I'll wait here a few minutes if there's any one-to-one questions.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare